Louis Vuitton Imagination is one of the most talked about fresh fragrances out there. But I'm going to ask you a different question. How much are you willing to pay for that DNA? Because this right here is Imagine Noise number 87 from the Cologne. And if this gets close enough to Louis Vuitton Imagination for the fraction of the price, we might have a problem. But being cheaper doesn't automatically make something a good clone. So let's find out if this is actually saving you money or you just smell like you save money. And this review is going to be a little different because at the end, I'm not only one that's going to be rating this. I took this one to the streets.
Welcome to the world of Mr. Couts. He is the ultimate fragrance guy. Get ready to experience true luxury. Remember to hit that subscribe button.
What's going on, fragrance fam? Today's review is actually a special one for me because this officially kicks off my first ever PR fragrance series. The Cologne reached out and sent me 5 fragrances to check out. So first of all, I want to say thank you to the Cologne for believing in the channel and sending these fragrances over. But here's how we're going to do this. I'm not throwing all 5 fragrances into one video. We're breaking this package down into 5 separate parts. So 5 fragrances, 5 reviews, and we're going to find out which ones are actually worth your money and which ones aren't. And I want to make something very, very, very clear from the beginning. These fragrances were gifted to me, but my opinion will not be. PR or not, I'm going to tell you exactly what I smell, what I like, what I don't like, how it performs, how close it gets to the fragrance it's inspired by, and most importantly, whether I think it's worth your money. And we're kicking off part 1 of 5 with Imagine Noise number 87, an extract the perfume inspired by Louis Vuitton Imagination. Now, if you already know the Imagination DNA, you know what you're looking for. That sparkling citrus, that clean, almost luxurious freshness, the ginger, and most importantly, that black tea running underneath everything. I'm going to tell you right now, the Cologne understood the assignment, but they didn't make a carbon copy. And there are definitely some differences we need to talk about. So let's get into it. When I first spray Imagine Noise, the first thing I get is this citrus blast.
Oh my God!
The opening gives us this bergamot, citron, and Sicilian orange. And that's pretty much what my nose is picking up. It's bright, it's juicy, and it's clean. It immediately has that refreshing quality you want from this type of fragrance. But here's what I like. It doesn't stay stuck in that lemon and orange fresh fragrance territory because pretty quickly the ginger and neroli start working their way into the scent, and that's where this thing starts getting interesting. The ginger gives the citrus a little bit of a spicy bite, but it doesn't make the fragrance feel warm or heavy. If anything, it makes the freshness feel even more energetic. It's almost like somebody took a cold glass of citrus water, dropped some freshly sliced ginger into it, and put it on ice. Very clean, very refreshing. But then the star of the show starts coming through. That is the black tea. The heart gives us ginger, neroli, and black tea. And for me, the tea notes will separate Imagine Noise from just being another fresh citrus fragrance. Because now you have all that bright citrus sitting on top, and underneath it, there's this smooth, aromatic, slightly bitter tea quality. And that is where you really start getting into the Louis Vuitton Imagination style DNA. Because for me, if you're trying to recreate this type of fragrance, the tea has to be right. Because if the tea isn't right, the clone isn't right. And Imagine Noise does a really good job with it. It's fresh without smelling childish. It's clean without smelling like a cleaning product. And it's smooth without becoming boring. That tea gives the fragrance some character. And this is the part where I started thinking, okay, now I see what you're doing. As Imagine Noise starts drying down, everything becomes a lot smoother. The base gives us Ambroxan, Gaiac wood, and white musk. Then Ambroxan gives us everything feeling clean, modern, and the white musk gives it smooth, almost fresh out of shower feeling. And then you have that Gaiaca wood underneath giving the fragrance just enough body. But don't think it's suddenly a heavy woody fragrance because it doesn't. The dry down is still very fresh, very clean, very easy to wear. The best way I can describe it is fresh citrus, black tea, clean skin, soft woods, and expensive soap. And I mean expensive soap in the best way possible. This is one of those fragrances where you smell extremely clean, but people know you didn't just step out of the shower using some $3 body gel or a $3 body wash. There's something a little more polished about it. Now, let's get to the question everybody wants to know about it. Does Imaginoise smell like imagination? Absolutely. You're getting that same general DNA, the citrus, ginger, black tea, Ambroxan, that smooth, luxurious, clean, fresh style. But y'all know I'm not just gonna sit here and say, yeah, this is that and that is this. This is not a one for one. When I say that, I really mean that, and this is a great fragrance. But they're not identical. The original Louis Vuitton has a little bit more refinement, especially in the opening, and there's a little more sparkle and a little bit more polish in that citrus. Now, Imaginoise comes across smoother to my nose, maybe a little less sparkly, but here's where it gets interesting. Once you get past the opening, the tea and Ambroxan, and it starts taking over, then the gap gets smaller, it gets closer. And that's really what impressed me, because after it settles down, this starts getting even more recognizable and more closer to that DNA. So this has to be one of the best actual inspirations of the Imagination DNA I've smelled so far. And I will say this is probably like the top one that I have in my collection. Not even gassing it, I'm being for real. And as you know, I really don't care about the concentration, what's on the bottle, EDT, EDP, extract, parfum. I care about how this performs on my skin. For Imaginoise, this gives me around 9 hours of longevity. The projection was strong for roughly around 2 to 3 hours. After that, it settled into a nice scent bubble around me. The sillage was very strong, lasted for at least 9 hours. And one thing I do like about this fragrance, and it does really well, is it works well in warm weather. The citrus, ginger, the tea, the freshness really starts coming alive once it gets into that warm, hot air. So spring and summer is an absolute must for this. The versatility is one of the best and strongest parts about this, because this can be a work scent, gym scent, if you're running errands, vacation, daytime dates, date night dates, brunch, spring, summer, early fall. Honestly, you can wear this thing anytime, any place, anywhere. And if you're somebody who loves a clean smelling signature scent, this will be it for you. I wouldn't have a problem even dressing this one up. If I put on a nice button up, I can throw this on and it still will smell polished, more refined. And if I want to go easy, just a regular t-shirt, I can put this on. Now, this fragrance is one of the areas that we need to talk about is the value. Imaginoise gives you everything that you would get in the Louis Vuitton setup with the DNA. But the pricing is definitely different. And if you decide you want to check it out, you can use my code, Mr. Couts, for 15% off. Just go to the Cologne and use my discount code, Mr. Couts, and you'll get 15% off. Now, the real question is, how much are you willing to pay for the DNA scent? That's the real question. Some people want that original Louis Vuitton style, Louis Vuitton bottle. They want the refinement and they want that full luxury experience. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. But if your main goal is to walk around smelling clean, citrus, ginger, black tea, Ambroxan DNA, that Imagination DNA, then Imaginoise brings a strong argument with it. And if you use my discount code again, you get 15% off. That's what this channel is about. It's helping you smelling good without wasting your money. So who should buy this? Buy it if you love fresh, citrusy, clean fragrances. If you've been chasing that Louis Vuitton Imagination style DNA without wanting to pay the Louis Vuitton price. Sample it if you're sensitive to Ambroxan or you don't like T4 fragrances, and pass if you're looking for something dark, sweet, heavy, or extremely loud. Because this is not what Imaginoise is about. And it's definitely not trying to do that. The fragrance is all about smelling cool, smelling clean, polished, and very smooth, and not paying an expensive price tag for it. So at this point, I would normally go ahead and give my final rating on this, but I decided to switch it up. I really did. So I decided that instead of me giving the review or the final statement, I would take it out in the world to regular people who aren't fragrance reviewers, who aren't looking at notes, who aren't trying to break it down, who could care less what notes are in it, whether it's a parfum, an extract, a EDT. The only thing that they're concerned with is, does it smell good or does it not smell good? So I took Imagine Noise to the street and I let people smell it. I asked them what they thought. And most importantly, I let them rate it themselves. So before I give you my final score, let's see what the streets have to say. I do fragrance reviews. I was wondering if I can get like your opinion on a certain fragrance. If you're okay with that? Sure. Yeah. Go ahead and step to the side. It's recording.
What's the smell?
It's an actual clone of Imagination. I want you to, what do you think about it so far?
I like it.
What would you rate it?
I don't want a 10. I'd be a 10. I'll wear it.
Okay.
That's something I'll wear.
Actually, it's a fragrance company out of Frisco, Texas, that they actually called the Clone.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So they actually just sent it out to me. So I'm just walking around trying to see what people actually think about it. So if they like it, what they want to rate it, or anything like that, is this something you actually think you would pick up?
Absolutely. All right, it smells good, bro.
What would you rate that?
Out of 10,
Yeah.
I'll say an 8.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. This would be something you actually purchase, you're aware? All right. So this is the actual brand. It's called The Clone. They specialize in inspiration of designer clones and stuff like that. This one is actually a clone of Imagination.
Okay.
So this is actually going for like $30, $40.
That ain't bad.
Yeah.
That ain't bad in today's society.
Yeah. So, and it lasts all day. It's a beast mode. So if you actually spray it on, it's going to be loud. It's going to be out there pretty much for it. What's your favorite cologne that you actually wear?
I got different ones, bro.
What's your go-to though?
The Dior and the Chanel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like Home too. Like from Azara.
Yeah. That's a banger too. You'll tell me what you think of it. Good. Would y'all rate it?
Yeah.
What's the rating on? Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being great, 1 being bad. 9?
8 and 9.
I'll give 10 because I'm not really liking it.
I'll give like 8.5.
Okay, this is actually a clone of Imagination.
Okay.
It's a company based in Frisco, Texas, and they're actually called The Clone. You can go to their website, thecloneperfume.com. My name is Mr. Couts, the fragrance guy, and I have this actual new fragrance that just came out. I don't want you to buy it. I just want you to smell it and give me a rating on it.
This one is it. This one.
This is right here. Scale of 1 to 10. What do you think about this?
8.
An 8? A solid 8? Okay. Great. Streets have spoken. And now you've heard what they think. And there's one rating left, mine. So let's break it down. For Imagine Noise number 87, I'm giving this scent at 8.5 out of 10. Performance is a 9 out of 10. Quality for the price gets a 10 out of 10. And similar to Louis Vuitton Imagination, or similarity to Louis Vuitton Imagination, I'm going to get an 8.5. After taking the street rating in and averaging everything together, I'm going to give it around a 9 out of 10. And just so you know that, I'm not discounting anything that they're saying. And I really do like the notes in this. I love how it was put together. I went ahead and did one final judgment on it. And sometimes when you take it to the streets, that's all you need is for them to give a rating. But since this is my show, I would like to give my final rating. So I'm putting together the final rating for everything all over. It's going to be a 9 out of 10. And for part 1 of 5 of the series, the clone is starting off with a certified heater. Now I want to hear from y'all. Would you spend money on Louis Vuitton Imagination? Or if the clone brands get close, or the clone brand gets close enough, are you keeping that money in your pocket? Let me know down below in the comments. And remember, this is only part 1 of 5. The clone sent me 5 fragrances, and every single one is getting their own review. After we've reviewed all 5, I'm ranking the entire PR package from worst to best. So you're definitely going to want to stick around for the rest. And if you want to check out Imagine Noise number 87 or anything else the clone has, the information will be down below. And don't forget to use my discount, Mr. Couts, for 15% off your order. That's MRCOUTS. These fragrances were gifted to me, but everything in this video, in my opinion, is my opinion. They did not pay for it. So if you love this channel, subscribe so you can get the notification because part 2 is coming. And as always, I'm Mr. Couts, the fragrance guy, helping you smell good without wasting your money.